Welcome to the podcast. I'm Max.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Mae, and we were had. Can you believe it?
There are twists and there are turns.
Defleshed is a standard death.
Oh, that's fun.
We were had.
We were.
Maybe I should put a pillow behind me.
You think that will work?
Maybe you should put it on top of the stomach.
All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. Today we are not discussing our humongous weight gain. We are talking about the Cecil Hotel and specifically the mysterious death of Elisa Lam.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big one.
I didn't realize she was 21.
Yeah, she was really young. So sad.
Because Elisa Lam sounds like an older person's name.
Really?
At least 28.
Elisa? No,
Elisa?
Elisa's a modern name.
Yeah, that's a young person's name.
All right.
If it was like Elaine Lam, then like that would be a little old-timey.
Yeah. By the way, my dad the other day was like, is Mae aware that there was a famous actress named Elaine May?
Yes, I
And
am.
Is that why she does that?
No, it's not. My middle name is Elaine, but then
Yeah.
I used to go by Elaine at the comic strip. I don't know why. It's a whole fucking
That's
thing.
right. The first time I saw you, it was Mae Lane.
Yeah,
Mae Elaine.
exactly. And then everybody thought I was doing that on purpose because they were like, "Oh, that's funny."
Yeah.
No,
I told him she used to go by Mae Elaine, and he was like, why? And I was like, she's an idiot. I don't think that. She's stupid.
I asked somebody, I was like, "What's better for like a stage name, Mae Elaine or Mae Planert?" And they were like, "Honestly, they're both terrible."
Both terrible. My name is Ben Kirschenbaum. You're like picking between these two very good names.
Normal names.
What's wrong with Kirschenbaum?
Well, no one can spell it.
Oh, that's the problem.
And people, it is, no, but it's also a name when a host is like, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah,
Kirschenbaum? And I'm just like, you
Kirschenbaum.
do your best. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And then I get on and I correct them when I get on. I'm like, that guy.
That guy's a fucking anti-Semite asshole bitch.
Classic setup.
Nazi. People just think my name. A lot of people don't think Maximilian's a real name, or they think that I made it up. I did it for the bit.
Really?
Yeah.
People aren't familiar with the name Maximilian?
I don't know. Dumb fucks.
There aren't many famous Maximilians.
Well, there's one.
Yeah.
All right, Elisa Lam. Who killed this broad?
All right, so who killed this broad? Okay, so before we get into the main story, I just want to talk about like the backdrop of where this all went down because the Cecil Hotel is like its whole other fucking shit. Okay. So the Cecil Hotel is this huge ass hotel. It was built in 1924 with the hope of being a destination for business travelers and tourists in LA. It's located on Skid Row in LA.
Ooh.
Not great. Not a great area.
Famously not a good
Yeah.
row.
And 24, I think like Hollywood's just coming into it. It's like they're building up LA
Yep.
as a just, tourist destination in general.
And this was part of that. So basically, like, they built it being like, this is like a new up and coming area. 5 years later, famously, we had the Great Depression, and the area went from a flourishing and fashionable destination to populated with transients. And there were said to be as much as 10,000 homeless people within a 4-mile radius.
That's a lot of homeless.
It is. It's a bummer on a lot of levels. So basically, it started to be used as like a long stay, like a hotel, motel, hostel type situation.
Motel, Holiday Inn.
Yes. Why were they partying at the Holiday Inn in that song?
Which
Meet
song?
me at the hotel, motel,
Holiday Inn. That's true. If you're meeting up with hookers, it's
Do I
gonna be
not?
Holiday
Maybe I
Inn.
just don't know that that's a lyric in the song. Keep singing the song. the most
Hotel, motel.
Is that the most famous part of the song?
It's Mr. 305.
Oh.
Yeah.
By?
Pitbull.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know any music past 1924 when this took place.
Well, there's one other. What is it? Dolly. He just says
yeah.
Dolly. Yeah.
Dale. Yeah. Okay.
Say
Mr.
less.
305.
That's Alex Caramon. Yeah.
I know Timber. That's Pitbull, right?
Yeah, but that's also Kesha.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyway, back to the Cecil Hotel. So even before there was a bunch of like seedy characters coming in and out of the hotel, it always had like a certain darkness to it. And there has been at least 16 sudden or unexplained deaths that have occurred in or around the hotel.
Before Elisa Lam even gets
Yes.
into the picture.
And this is the hotel that's the American Horror Story hotel season. It's based off this hotel.
Allegedly, yeah.
Let it go.
Lady Gaga.
The fuck did you say?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, I think
She won the Golden Globe for this.
And then Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like tongue tied today, which is really great for a podcast.
The famous GIF where he's like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a good GIF.
When she's
Yeah,
walking
he
by
snubbed
him.
her.
Yeah. What a dick.
What a dick.
Yeah.
Pretty hot though. I like that guy.
Actually, class act.
Yeah, he's great.
Environmentalist.
I would never have a
Yes.
chance with them though, because I'm over 25.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so a few deaths of note. So the first one was January 22nd, 1927. Percy Ormond Cook shot himself.
That's an old name.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Percy Ormond. He shot himself in the head and later died. So that was the very first
Later
death.
died.
Yeah, apparently he shot himself. You can shoot
15
yourself.
years later. Of natural causes.
Apparently, if you're not aiming well, it can just like go out the back of your neck and you can like survive.
Well, yeah, because like there's all those crazy stories of it not going all the way through or like bouncing around. Sometimes people fucking miss.
Oof. Not on.
They always tell you, no, don't put this gun in your mouth and try it because then you'll just shoot through your cheek. And then
Right, exactly.
Who told you that? Your therapist?
She's like, Max, temple.
Make it count. Awful joke.
No, it's bad. It's bad. Okay, so next one. March 1937, Grace Magro fell from the 9th story window, and when she was falling down, she got tangled in telephone wires and like was like electrocuted and all fucked up.
Oh my God. So she didn't jump. She fell.
Allegedly.
She's ripping a ciggy out the 9th floor.
Yeah, maybe. This one's kind of crazy. Well, very crazy. So September in 1944, a woman named Dorothy Jean Purcell gave birth, and she allegedly didn't know that she was pregnant. Oh, whoops. Never mind. So she gave birth, and then she threw her newborn out the window.
Oh, God.
Jesus. She gave birth by herself in the hotel.
In the hotel.
And then just yeeted it.
Yep. So she was with her boyfriend. I kind of assume from the things I read, doing drugs. Mm-hmm. And then she didn't want to wake him up. And so she went into the bathroom and literally gave birth to a baby.
Didn't want to wake up this man. So
didn't want to wake up
birth
this man.
Quietly.
Gave birth, took the baby, and yeeted it out the window.
Oh my God.
And it was found on like a patio on some close by thing.
Okay.
And then she got off on the murder charges because by reason of insanity. Okay. So the next one is June 4th, 1964. A woman named Pigeon Goldie Osgood was found dead after having been stabbed, beaten, and raped. She got her nickname because she was often seen feeding pigeons in nearby Pershing Square. So hours later, a man by the name of Jacques Ellinger was seen walking around the square with blood-stained clothing. So everybody was like, well, this is obviously
Yeah, it was this
him.
guy, yeah.
And but he was found not guilty of the crime, and it still remains unsolved.
Whose blood was that?
We don't know.
Tell you what, maybe a future episode.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Episodes within episodes.
Maybe.
Wow.
Russian doll.
Wow.
Have you? I read about 2 possible future episodes recently. There was one. You hear about this? There's a couple. I felt like one of those travel blog couples. They like travel around in a camper van.
I know what you're talking about.
He came back. She didn't.
Oh yeah.
The boyfriend came back and she didn't.
The boyfriend
and
killed
the
her.
parents are like, her parents are like, he's kind of weird. And like the cops like called him for comment and they just got like his lawyer. Information. Like he didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything.
So it's like, okay,
What was his defense? He's like, oh, I didn't know. She's not back?
What?
We were gonna meet here.
I thought she was in the bathroom.
Okay.
If I had to put my money on anything, I think he murdered her.
And there was another family, wealthy, white, legal family, like long-standing rich people. A few years ago, I guess the mom and one of the sons was murdered.
Okay.
And then this guy was forced out of his very prominent law firm because he was embezzling funds. This is after the case. And then he got shot in the head on the side of a road.
Ooh.
Didn't die. The guy botched it.
Wow.
And then now he just got arrested. He's about to get arrested because they found out that he paid that guy to shoot him in the head so the son could get the insurance money. So it's like,
holy shit.
That's a great story.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it's like, my question is, because they never saw what happened with the first mom and the first son.
Yeah.
So it's like,
All right, little teaser for future episodes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's another
Yeah, I
one
read the
going on
news.
right now. There's a family found dead in a campground, and they're dead, their dog's dead, everyone's dead, and there's no cause of death. They did an autopsy. They can't figure out what caused it.
When
they
was
have
that?
no like bruising. This is like a few weeks ago. There's no bruising. There's no like gunshots. There's no stab wounds. There's no drugs in their system. Everybody, including the fucking dog, is dead. Isn't that the weirdest story you've ever heard?
Were they
Should've done that
inside or
one.
outside?
They were outside in a campground.
So it wasn't like monoxide or anything.
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
And no
I don't know how that works.
marks, no...
Nothing.
Huh.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
That is a weird one.
That's supernatural.
That's aliens.
Yeah, that's aliens, ghosts.
All right, well, we solved that one. I guess that's not an episode.
So the latest death at the
Are you
Cecil
eating
Hotel.
the mic? What are we doing?
I don't understand the question.
Just licking it.
I wanted a beer, and this is all I have.
So sad. Okay, so the latest death is a 28-year-old man that fell from the building in 2015.
Another one that fell?
Yeah, I don't think people are just falling. I'll be honest with you, but that's what they want me to say. Okay.
Here's another one, yeah.
So then another creepy thing, too, is about Elizabeth Short. You'll
Previous
remember, previous episode, the Black Dahlia. She was said to have been seen there during her last few days drinking at the bar. And the Night Stalker, a.k.a. Richard Ramirez, stayed at the hotel during his serial killer streak.
Okay, so we got a lot of...
That
got a
place
lot of
got
bad
bad juju.
Bad juju.
Bad juju.
And I read somewhere that like Richard Ramirez would come home like covered in blood, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, are you 217? Here's your key." Like,
It's such another night of the Cecil, let me tell you that.
yeah.
Concierge is like, don't mess with that guy. He's probably a murderer.
Okay, so our story today is mostly about the most famous death at the Cecil Hotel, the 2013 mysterious death of Elisa Lam. So Elisa Lam, she was a 21-year-old college student at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, and she had been planning a solo trip through California, despite having some pretty serious mental health concerns. So her parents are originally from Hong Kong, and they were just like, understandably, like, you know, we really don't want you traveling alone, but, you know, you are an adult. Like, what are we going to do about it? So Lam had recently been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and she had been prescribed 4 medications: Wellbutrin, Lamictal, Seroquel, and Effexor to treat her disorders. So according to her family, who supposedly kept her history of mental illness a secret, Lam had no history of suicidal ideations or attempts, although one report claimed that she had previously gone missing for a brief period. So in the beginning, when they're still looking for her, they're like, well, this isn't like exactly out of character, but
Okay.
you know, things get pretty bad. So she was super crazy active on social media. She posted a lot of ominous ass shit, but so in January 2012 blog post, she lamented that a relapse at the start of her current school term had forced her to drop several classes, leaving her feeling like utterly directionless and lost. So she titled her post, "You're always haunted by the idea that you're wasting your life."
Ooh.
I know, it's just so sad. So this girl's just like going through it.
She's sad.
And she's like, you know what's going to fix this? Traveling alone on Skid Row.
Yeah.
You know, it's just very bummery. So a little over 2 years after she had started blogging, she announced that she would be abandoning her blog for another one that she started on Tumblr called Nouvelle Nouveau. And
A lot of troubled youth on Tumblr, let me tell you that.
yeah, big time.
I was also on Tumblr.
And on all 4 of those medications.
So its content mostly consisted of fashion photos, quotes, and a few posts in Lamb's own words, which were like super ominous. But I've noticed that it was scrubbed, so I couldn't find what they talked about. But I saw in like a lot, which I kind of like and like respect, because I don't know. I mean, we're probably just trying to help and stuff by going through her social media, but like imagine if everyone was scrutinizing your worst,
Everything you
darkest
ever
days
said.
and like,
Of course.
Everyone has a Facebook post where they were like, fucking bullshit.
yeah,
Like,
I hate you, mom.
don't hit the cell.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. I think that's good that it was scrubbed, but basically the gist of it is that she wrote a lot of ominous stuff on there.
Okay.
And so January 26th, 2013, she arrives in LA and she checks in at the Cecil Hotel into a hostel room with a few other girls.
What the fuck is this hotel?
It's like a clusterfuck. First of all, there's 400 rooms in this hotel. It's like huge.
Is it nice?
Yeah, is it fancy?
No, it's
okay.
terrible. It's like a hostel. Like it's like literally rooms were like $10. But you'd have to have
How much is a room with a Cecil, Michael? $10?
$10. So you'd show up and there'd be like, you might have roommates, you might not have roommates.
Well, and we have no way of knowing. They don't even have a website.
Well, no, it got changed. They had to change the name after this.
Stay on Main Hotel.
Yeah. The Stay on Main.
That's
Is
worse.
what it got renamed as because pretty bad
3.1.
news.
It gets a 3.1 on Google.
That's not bad considering.
Let me tell you something. Stay on Main
Free
Hotel
Wi-Fi.
also doesn't have a fucking the deadliest hotel.
Go down a little bit. Let's see the amenities.
Hotel.
Not bad.
Free breakfast.
Airport shuttle.
That's beautiful.
That's nice.
Smoke free.
I bet it's actually doing like pretty well now because people are just fascinated by this case. They're fascinated by the building. People like that kind of stuff.
No pool, no pets. 24-hour front desk. That's nice.
So they can watch you coming in with blood all over you and say, "Oh, great,
All
welcome
right,
back."
Good for you. All right, back to this is beautiful.
Yeah, it actually looks quite nice. Maybe they spruced it up.
Yeah, they made
Can I
since
see
all
how
of
they
the
spruced?
murder. It looks nice, right? It's just a black. I'm showing her a black screen. Okay,
Yeah, it's not horrible.
it's like
Let's
a
go
little
stay there.
lounge.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
But I mean, if you're telling me you're not hearing voices in this place,
Yeah.
I mean,
don't-
it's actually the redesign.
Yeah.
Stay on Main.
So this
Yeah,
is what
so
I'm
this has
talking
got
about.
hostel vibes. That's got dorm
God.
room vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like like a lofted bed. I'm looking at the camera and explaining it to the listeners.
Yeah.
All right, let's move forward here.
Okay, so let's
Oh,
move
I like that
forward. So anyways, she shows up. She's in one of those
It's also
lofted
Arrested
bed. She's in one of those lofted bed situations, and she has a few roommates.
Right.
The roommates complained about what the hotel lawyer would later describe as, quote, certain odd behavior. And they never elaborated on what that certain odd behavior was. But basically, then she was moved out of that room and moved into her own room after 2 days because the hotel was like, these people are complaining so much about this girl being, not acting right. Okay. So while she was traveling, she contacted her parents in British Columbia every day. I'm sure they were like, you have to because, you just got diagnosed with these serious things. Hello. And so on February 1st, 2013, the day she was scheduled to check out of the Cecil and leave for Santa Cruz, her parents didn't hear from her. And so they decided to call the LAPD. Her family then flew to LA to help with the search. So hotel, what?
Yeah, they seem concerned.
On
sure.
top of things, yeah.
Yeah, totally. God, it's so, whew.
Horrible.
I know. So hotel staff who saw Lam that day said that she was alone. Outside the hotel, a woman named Katie Orphan, who was the manager of a nearby bookstore, was the only person who recalled seeing her that day. She said she was very outgoing, very lively, very friendly, while getting gifts to take home to her family, Orphan told CNN. She was talking about what books she was getting and whether or not what she was getting would be too heavy for her to carry on as she traveled. So obviously, presumably, she's going to go home.
She was planning on
She
leaving.
was planning on leaving.
Right.
So police searched the hotel to the extent that they legally could, which I'm like, guys, open up the fucking hotel. Like, you got a missing lady here. Come on. And they searched Lam's room and had dogs go through the building, including the rooftop, which comes in later. But the dogs were unsuccessful in detecting her scent. They said, we didn't search every single room. Sergeant Rudy Lopez later said, but he said we could only do that if we had probable cause to believe a crime had been committed. So on February 6th, a week after Lam had last been seen, the LAPD decided it was more than needed. And so flyers with her image were posted in the neighborhood and online, and it brought the case to the public's attention and through the media. So everyone's talking about it, like, where is Elisa Lam? It's been fucking 6 days. We can't find her going in or out of the hotel on the security cameras. Like, everyone's flipping out. Okay? So February 15th.
And at this point, the people know about the hotel. It's not a secret.
What do you mean?
This hotel is like...
Oh, everybody's
bad
known
shit.
about this hotel, like, being scary.
Which is possibly why it's a story already, so publicized. Okay.
But I mean, I guess if like a 21-year-old college student goes missing anywhere,
fair.
that's pretty sensational.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so then there is an elevator video that gets leaked out. So February 15th, and you guys have probably seen this video. It's really long. It's like 10 minutes long, and she is...
It's disturbing.
It's really, really disturbing. But basically, so another week after No Sign of Lam, the LAPD actually released the video, and it was the last known sighting of her, and it was taken in one of Cecil's elevators by video surveillance camera on February 1st, so the day that she went missing. So, so basically, it is really long, but the ones that are on YouTube that I've seen are only like 2.5 minutes of footage. And she's making like really weird movements with her hands. She's going in and out of the fucking, what's it called? Elevator.
Yeah.
And
the fucking little box with ropes on it.
and shit or whatever.
I thought it looked like at first, it just looked like she was concerned, like why the doors weren't closing.
Yeah.
And like left maybe to see if like something was like going on.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't also get a vibe though that there was someone like a ghost.
It looked like she was
Right.
talking to somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
looked
she
like
would
she was
come
talking
out
to
and then she would talk to people with her hands going all crazy. And then she would get back in and she would hide by where the buttons are on the elevator. And then she would go back out and peek her head out and then hide
Well,
back.
at one
So
point she pressed all the buttons.
she pressed all
Nothing
the buttons.
happened.
Right.
But then she also pressed the button that keeps the door open. So like that's why the doors weren't closing.
Oh, okay.
Because of that. But I don't know if she did that on purpose or like what was going on. But yeah.
And so
Very
this
strange.
video wasn't released until a couple weeks after the disappearance, but obviously the LAPD knew of the video right away, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So the video drew worldwide interest in the case due to Lam's strange behavior and has been extensively analyzed and discussed. I'm sure like, a bunch of people like yelling at their phones right now, being like, "You didn't even talk about that."
Yeah,
But
2 minutes, 25 seconds in.
yeah. So it was reposted widely, including on the Chinese video sharing site Youku, where it got 3 million views and 40,000 comments in the first 10 days. So people are like invested. Most people found it really unsettling to watch, but people were trying to be like sleuths and figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. China's Reddit.
Yeah. Pretty much. So several theories evolved to explain her actions. One was that Lam was trying to get to the elevator car to move in order to escape someone who was pursuing her. That's, obviously something likely. Others suggested that she might be under the influence of ecstasy or another party drug, which I kind of maybe agree with just because of her hands going nuts.
Okay.
Like when people are on drugs, they get like weird.
Handsy.
How long after her talking to that gift shop woman
I don't
is
know.
this?
I'm not sure. Same day, but
Same
I don't know.
day. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If she was like having a crazy day, the
Mm-hmm.
one person
Right.
who interacted with her might have been like, something seemed off.
I know. I don't know enough about bipolar disorder to comment, but maybe like, yeah, it said when her bipolar disorder became known, there was another theory that she was having a psychotic episode. So,
Okay.
Whatever. Other viewers argued that the video had been tampered with before it was made public. Besides the obscuring of the timestamp, they claimed parts that had been slowed down and nearly a minute of footage had been removed. I thought I read somewhere that it was 10 minutes long, but maybe like the full thing is only
I
2
only
minutes
saw
long.
a short one, but
Yeah.
I mean, it could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this could have been done to protect the identity of someone who otherwise would have been in the video, either related to or not to the disappearance. So everyone's always blaming the cops, like, did a cop kill her? And then that's where,
Okay.
But I mean, that's kind of far stretch for me.
Yeah.
Well, the three explanations that you gave are all so reasonable.
Right.
Right.
Well, that video did look weird. I mean, I saw like the one on CBS News, but it looked slowed down.
It did
You
look.
can't see the timestamp and but maybe maybe somebody walked by and like they didn't want that person to be.
Yeah, maybe.
But why edit that out? I don't know. I'm not a fucking cop.
Listen,
Just a guy with a podcast.
I'm just a guy with a perfect podcast.
that gets everything exactly right.
100% of the time.
Yeah. Okay, so during the search for Lam, guests at the hotel started complaining about low water pressure. Okay. And you see where this is going?
She's turning into Kamala. Okay. And they're complaining about low water pressure. Okay. Joe Biden and I.
Joe Biden.
Okay.
So some later claimed that their water was colored black and had an unusual taste. People were drinking the water.
Well, then once it was colored black, stop tasting it.
Yeah. That's
weird.
It's so gross. Okay, so the morning of February 19th, Santiago Lopez, a hotel maintenance worker, found her body in one of the 4 1,000-gallon tanks located on the roof, providing water to the guest rooms, a kitchen, and a coffee shop. Through the open hatch, he saw Lam lying face up in the water. The tank was drained and cut open since the maintenance hatch was too small to accommodate equipment needed to remove her body. Her body was moderately decomposed and bloated. It was mostly greenish with some marbling effect on the abdomen, which I don't really know what that means, and skin separation evident. So there was no signs of physical trauma, sexual assault, or suicide, but how would they know that? I don't know.
I guess suicide in certain ways, right?
Like
done in certain
shot
ways.
herself and then thrown in there. I don't know. Toxicology test.
Or like rocks in your pockets to sink you.
Oh God, yeah. Is the water that deep? No,
it's pretty deep. I mean, these are big ass
big
barrels.
vats. Okay.
Yeah. So toxicology tests showed traces consistent with prescription medication found among her belongings. So she was taking her
normal meds.
Yeah, plus drugs like Sinutab and ibuprofen.
Well, ibuprofen's nothing.
Right.
What's Sinutab?
I don't know. Sounds like a sinus infection thing. Yeah.
Ibuprofen is what? It's like a leaf.
Sinutab is a sinus allergy and pain relief medication originally marketed by Warner Lambert. It is manufactured and distributed by Johnson & Johnson, J&J.
J&J.
After its acquisition of Pfizer's Consumer Healthcare Division
J&J.
in late December 2006. So, yeah.
All right.
So a very small quantity of alcohol was present, but it was like 0.2 grams. Like that's
0.02.
0.02. But no other recreational drugs. So investigators and experts have, however, noted that the concentration of her prescription drugs in her system indicated that she was under-medicating or had stopped taking her meds recently.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say over-medicating, and that might explain something. Okay.
That's what I thought I was going to say, too, because I didn't even read this before putting these notes together.
Fantastic.
Mae's reading it and getting so surprised. Under-medicated.
It's a twin.
Whoa, who saw this coming?
Oh, my God. Okay, so the investigation. So the investigation had determined how she died, drowning, I guess, but did not initially offer an explanation as to how she got into the tank in the first place. So the doors and stairs that access the hotel's roof are all locked at all times. So no one even knows how she's gotten up there. So a lot of people are pointing like maybe it's a hotel staff member that killed her.
Right.
Plus, so go ahead.
How do you get to the roof without being caught on another camera?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows.
In 2013.
We don't
unless somebody knows the blind spots.
Right.
I gave him a Lucille wink.
So the hotel's fire escape could have allowed her to bypass the security measures and the videotapes, but her scent trail was lost near a window that was connected to it. So presumably she didn't walk up that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Or was her scent trail lost near a window that connected to it because she went out that window?
Repeat that.
But then she would have to have her scent on the fucking...
Once you go outside, how's that scent working? I'm no bloodhound.
So there's no cameras.
I just have a podcast.
Just a perfect podcast.
Just a perfect podcast. What, Ben?
So no cameras on the roof, right?
No cameras on the roof.
Okay.
I mean, why would you need that if it's locked?
Right. There's cameras on my roof, and it's locked.
Yeah, because you hang out there.
Yeah, but it's like a hangout roof.
That's
right?
true, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so apart from the question as to how the fuck she got on the roof, others asked if she could have gotten into the tank by herself. Like, the tanks were 4 by 8 feet tall, so they're big-ass things, propped on concrete blocks. So they're huge, and they're up high. And there's no fixed access to them, and hotel workers had to use a ladder to look at the water. And they were protected by, like, super, super heavy lids that would have been really, really difficult to replace.
So she's got to lift that. She's got to climb up, lift that lid, and then go under.
Right.
And how big is she's a small person, or what size is she? What kind of is she like a tiny, a petite thing?
She's a petite thing.
In that video, I saw that video. She didn't look like.
No.
She didn't look like a girl that's throwing around lids. Let me tell you that.
No, she's not tossing
Right.
lids around. Definitely not. But the hotel employee that found the body said that the lid was open at the time. Removing the issue of how she could have closed the lid from inside. So it was open. Just like wide open for the world to see. Which is also really weird because like when they searched the roof the first time, it's like, guys, you didn't see this girl floating in the fucking, you know? Like, did somebody put it there after the original search from the police?
Well, what did we learn anything from the body, like the coroner? Can't you tell how long somebody's been in water or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's always a thing. Like they usually know how long somebody's been dead, right?
That's
they
true.
usually are like,
But wait, why is that a question though? Because we kind of know it's been 2 weeks,
because
right?
Mae's question
My
was,
question is like, how did they miss this the first time? Because they said that they searched the roof. So how would you possibly miss this? That like the water tank was open and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're saying that maybe she wasn't even in there.
well,
That's what I'm
Mae said it,
asking, yeah.
and then I piggybacked off of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Both of you, in some sense, said it.
Well, she said it,
Yeah.
but I am reiterating.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, so some argued that she was attempting to hide from the person killing her in the video, perhaps someone obviously responsible for her death, while others said that she was merely frustrated with the elevator's apparent malfunction.
Yeah, I was getting to the definite frustration.
Yeah, for sure.
But who was she talking to?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's get into like, so that's basically it for like, they found her body. There's a lot of weird stuff. We really don't know who's responsible. We don't know if she did it. You know, herself, like, there's a theory that maybe she like climbed in herself and then was like, oh fuck, I can't get out. And then just like drowned.
So that falls in line with she's going through some sort of episode.
Yeah. And she's like, what would happen if I went swimming in this?
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So weird. So there's a few weird coincidences also. So there's in like popular culture, there's this movie called Dark Water, and the circumstances of her death have been compared to plot elements in that horror film. And so in the film, an American remake of an earlier Japanese film of the same name, a mother and a daughter move to a rundown apartment building. A dysfunctional elevator and discolored water gushing from the building's faucets eventually lead them to the building's rooftop water tank, where they discover the body of a girl who's been reported missing from the building a year earlier. Isn't that so weird?
That is wild. That is wild.
Wild.
I don't like that. You also jumped over that last paragraph there before, like her Tumblr blog was updated after she died.
Yeah.
They couldn't find her phone with the body or in her room. And they couldn't tell if the posts were by like the queuing up the post or if somebody was just posting to her account.
Oh, yeah. I think they did figure out that it was queuing though.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, that would have been freaky if someone was just posting to her account.
Movie thing is super freaky.
Super freaky.
Super freaky.
Does that
Super
imply...
freak.
Girl.
So,
You guys are just making up songs at this point.
that's a real popular song.
Does it...
I'm just pissed.
Would the movie thing to you imply that there was a murderer who was doing some sort of homage is not
Doing
the
a
word.
bit?
Yeah.
Maybe it's committed to the bit.
Was the movie inspired by some sort of supernatural lore of a creature or a monster who dumps bodies in water?
So you're saying the movie was a documentary?
I'm not saying it's a documentary. I'm saying it was inspired by some sort of lore, and that one of those monsters
Okay.
took her out.
My thing. The answer is my thing.
Yes.
Okay, so a few theories about who done it.
Okay.
Okay, so number one, she died by suicide. So people are saying that, you know, she often wrote on her Tumblr about depression, anxiety. So maybe this was like her way of committing suicide. Seems pretty fucking gnarly if you ask me. But I don't know. People don't really support that idea.
Suicide, though, meaning like she had her wits about it, because how does that explain the actions in the elevator?
It
suicide,
doesn't.
I mean, suicide.
Yeah.
I assume that suicide means that she was having some sort of out-of-body episode that led to suicide.
I guess.
Because that's the only thing. That's the only way that suicide would make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
That does make you question a bit the police involvement in the crime. There's some support or some sort of, were they protecting someone because they searched the roof where this thing was open with its lid, you know what I mean,
Right.
and didn't find her the first time. And then also, you know, it says here that, you know, they never shared the results of the rape kit, the fingernail kit, or if they were even processed. You don't even know anything about that. And it's like,
Right.
shouldn't that be the first thing you check when like a young girl is found dead?
Right. And
after
like
being missing?
naked and floating in a fucking pool.
She was fully naked too?
I think so.
Oh my God.
That feels important.
That feels very important.
But that they said there was no evidence of rape.
I don't want to say the gross thing here, but her rectum was also prolapsed here.
What's that mean?
Nothing good. It says that that there was like pooling of blood in her anal area as well, which was suggested as a sign of sexual abuse, but also could have resulted from bloating in the course of the decomposition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess we'll never know. She accidentally drowned. We kind of went over that. So people
after going for a dip in this tank.
So this would also be it's related to the suicide theory.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That she was misusing substances, but that doesn't really make sense because, I mean, there wasn't. I guess she was like off her meds, but I mean, I guess that is misusing substances because she's off her meds, right? And then they're saying like in the elevator she was hallucinating.
So she's off her meds, maybe something having to do with taking the meds and then the change in going to less meds, whatever it is.
So she got off her meds. She kind of had like some sort of episode, somehow made her way to the roof, got into this tank. As people are using the water kind of leaves the tank and she can't escape out of it, even if she came to her senses.
I guess.
All of that would make sense if it were easy to get into the tank.
Yeah.
If it was easy to get to the roof and then also get into the tank.
I think someone put her in the tank. That's what I think. What do you think?
It feels like that, yes.
I think it kind of has to be based off your description of the tank.
Yeah, I think so. So the next one, obviously, she was murdered by someone. People think that the elevator video suggests that she was afraid of someone following her. It looked like, maybe she was hiding from someone. She was trying to hide in a corner, try to make herself like small and be out of sight. So that could be maybe a hotel employee.
That was certainly the most unsettling part of that, where she's just kind of against the button.
Yeah. You clearly see it.
Yeah.
The question is whether it was a hallucination or not.
Yeah. That's the problem. Once you add in the mental health aspect, you can't really trust anything either.
Right. I know. Tough stuff. Okay, so Elisa was tormented by ghosts. It's a
theory.
It's a theory. So
and it's a good one.
And it's a good one. So obviously the Cecil Hotel has been linked to a million different horrible things. So people say that maybe she was hiding from a supernatural entity in the elevator. And also many point to her strange hand motions that I was talking about as a sign that maybe she was communicating with a spirit.
Mm-hmm. Why would the hand motions? Is that how you talk to a host? You're like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Ghost? Oh, what's going on? Yeah, that's how you talk to a ghost.
That's how I talk to him, yeah.
Yeah, just flip him off. Let me tell you something. I've seen almost every episode of the hit CW program Supernatural, and a lot of stuff happens in motels and hotels. Nothing good. A lot of history there. People, especially a hotel where a bunch of people fucking die in. You're telling me that
too many people in and out.
There's too many people in and out.
No,
especially a lot of tragedy around this hotel. If there were going to be ghosts, this place would have them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic psycho. Yeah, that's always been a thing.
I thought you were just calling me a psycho. You go psycho.
I thought that too.
It felt like it, right? I think you kind of meant to double.
Oh, yeah. Also the movie Psycho. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so there's actually a really, really weird conspiracy theory also that Elisa was a tuberculosis test subject.
Okay.
Okay, so it speculates that Lam was a guinea pig for a new tuberculosis medication because there was a tuberculosis outbreak in 2013 on Skid Row.
Okay.
And theorists point out that one tuberculosis test is called the Lam Elisa. Isn't that
what?
Weird? Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Wait, okay. I don't understand. But she was on vacation here. If there was an outbreak, she just got there, took an experimental tuberculosis drug?
That's what they're saying.
Would she know is the idea that she doesn't know that she's part of this experiment?
I think so.
Just another example of the government forcing unverified and untested medication on unsuspecting citizens.
Yeah.
It's a little spot on, though. If the government did this
to
name the thing,
yeah,
Elisa,
yeah. Just call it the "we killed her" medication.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And I think her college had something to do also with the tuberculosis testing. I don't know. There's like a lot more layers to that I should have included in my notes, and I did not.
Right.
So, the last one that I'm going to get into is that she opened a portal to another dimension.
I'm on board.
Yeah. So
Beats tuberculosis theory.
the theory hinges on believing that the spooky urban myth of the Korean elevator game. According to rules, the player has to enter an elevator alone and press a series of buttons in order to enter a parallel dimension. In this new world, electronic devices don't work, and there's nothing outside but a red cross. The player is not supposed to leave the elevator, and if a strange woman steps on, they shouldn't speak to or look at her. Some theorize that Lam was trying to play this game, and it all went horribly wrong. What?
This is like a classic game.
I guess it's a classic. It's
Elevator.
like Bloody Mary.
Elevator
Bloody
to another
Mary, that
world,
kind of
known colloquially as the elevator game. Some may recognize it as a comic that pops up. Yeah, early 2010s and odd. It's
So
the other
weird.
world.
And she's
Yeah,
saying
so
that-
it's like it's sometimes referred to as Shadow Side. I mean, the way she was pressing those buttons didn't seem like it was ringing. She kind of was like, it looked like she was doing something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you're supposed to do. Enter your chosen building and get into the elevator on the first floor alone. Do not proceed if anyone else is in the elevator with you. Press the button for the 4th floor. When the elevator reaches the 4th floor, do not get out. Instead, remain in the elevator and press the button for the 2nd floor. When you reach the 2nd floor, remain in the elevator and press the button for the 6th floor. When you reach
my
the
building
6th
doesn't have
floor,
6th floor.
remain in the elevator and press the button for the 2nd floor. When you reach the 2nd floor, remain in the elevator and press the button for the 10th floor. When you reach the 10th floor, remain in the elevator and press the button for the 5th floor. When you reach the 5th floor, a young woman may enter the elevator.
Oh.
Do not look at her. Do not speak to her. Do not pass go. Do not collect. I'm kidding. She is not what she seems. Press the button for the 1st floor. If the elevator begins ascending to the 10th floor instead of descending to the 1st, you may proceed. If the elevator descends to the 1st floor, exit as soon as the doors open. Do not look back. Do not speak. If you reach the 10th floor, you may either choose to get off the elevator or to stay on it. If you choose to get off, and if the woman entered the elevator on the 5th floor, she will ask you, "Where are you going?" Do not answer her. Do not look at her. You will know whether you have arrived at the other world by one indication, and one indication only. The only person present is you.
What? But why do I want to go to this place that there's
I
just a
don't know.
red fucking cross?
Are you allowed to bring the instructions with you?
Yeah, this
It's like,
this is really long.
It's like 15 steps.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Oh,
memorize
you should
that.
get look the trip back. There's also a return trip. You have to do a
You mean from the other dimension?
from the other
Back to
dimension. You
ours?
have to do another series of bullshit. Here's the thing. Additional, should you reach the other world, the floor onto which you will emerge will look almost identical to the one from your own world, save for 2 things.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All the lights will be off, and the only thing you'll be able to see from the windows is a red cross in the distance. Some say that electronic devices don't work in the other world. Others say they do. Getting back to your own world may be difficult.
Devices also don't tend to work in elevators.
More difficult than it seems. You're not going to have any signal. You may become disoriented and forget which elevator in which you arrive. The elevator may seem to get further and further away from you as you walk towards, and so on. Be vigilant and keep your wits about you. If at any point during the ritual you faint, pass out, or otherwise lose consciousness, you will likely wake up in your own home. However, be sure to carefully examine your surroundings upon waking. The home to which you have returned may not be the one you left when you first set out to attempt this ritual.
Wow.
Why would you do this?
I would never want to do this. It sounds terrible.
And I love the part where it's like, okay, 5th floor, there might be a woman that got on the elevator. Don't look at her. Don't talk to her.
There's always so many women out there like, wow, that kid was so weird.
Yeah.
He just said hello, nothing.
How, I mean, like, could you imagine you're doing this and like you just get to the 5th floor of your building, a young woman just happens to be getting on the elevator and you're like,
Don't look at her.
don't look at her.
What are the odds that Max and I will get bored enough to do this at some point this week?
98%.
Should we do it right after this?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have enough floors in this building.
Let's
do
do it to
it.
Max, and then we'll fuck with him and have you come on the 5th floor.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It says young woman.
Shit.
Oh, dude, we can't do it. We can't do it together though. It has to be alone.
I
That's
would,
how you know.
I would never do this alone. I would
No, no.
I don't care if there was a 1 in a trillion chance it was possible. I would still never do
I'd
this
be too
alone.
scared.
First of all, elevators are terrifying alone.
I'm a 31-year-old woman, and I would never do like the Bloody Mary thing in the mirror.
Why would you? You see those Candyman? For those fucking the Candyman movie?
You gotta say it
horror
3
movie.
times, right?
Say it 5 times, I
5.
think. But those trailers were terrifying. I know it's a film. If I was on set and they said say Candyman 5 times, I'd be like, dub in the 5th. I'm not saying it. I'm not doing it.
It just says in the credits, guy who pretends voice of Max in one scene.
I just very clearly do Candyman. And just finish me off. I'm not gonna do it. I won't.
I'll do nudity. I won't do.
Listen, we all have our things.
Oh, that's rich.
So, okay, so you did all the research. You've probably listened to several podcasts on Elisa Lam. I know this is a very popular one. This is like a Maura Murray, a Black Dahlia, very big scale thing. And it makes sense because it's one of those ones where there's no real answer. There's a million ways you can go in. And once you open your mind up to fucking other world shit, there's a million things. But what does your heart tell you?
I think the most fun thing would be paranormal. I think the most realistic is that someone that works at the hotel killed her.
Yeah.
I'm with Mae.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, to work at this hotel, you either really need to work. You either really need the work, which is obviously a real thing. This country doesn't exactly have great work all the time for everyone. Yeah. Or you're a fucking pervert murderer. There's only 2 reasons to live in this, to work in this hotel. And the only reason to stay at this hotel, if you can only afford a $10 room, or if you're interested in communing with some sort of otherworldly nonsense.
And she probably was like a really easy target for someone like that too, because she's traveling alone, she's a little loopy, you know.
But this is where the reality and the supernatural can kind of overlap, because someone with those kind of mental issues deep in Tumblr, you could read about this fucking Korean game, and in this Tumblr, shit like this happens on Tumblr all the time, where they read about this shit and then they go to try it. She could have very well been trying that.
So then you would say that it's just a coincidence that it's reported that she was like in a weird mood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just she happened to be in a weird mood, and then something awful happened to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how often is everyone just in a weird mood? You know what I mean?
I'm in a weird mood right now.
I'm in a very weird mood.
When you guys got here, I was in a weird mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell.
All right. I wanted to crack a couple cold ones with the boys, and they stonewalled me. This guy's
I stonewalled.
He stonewalled,
Mae
and then Mae. I go, do you guys want to grab a drink? And Mae goes, I have 2 shows tonight. I don't know where they are. We'll see.
Yeah, and then I show up and I'm like, where's my beer?
And I didn't stop. Also, CVS had a terrible selection. So
no pumpkin?
No, that's all I want is a pumpkin beer. It's time.
Listen.
It's time.
There's a good, nice beer shop 3 blocks away from us.
City Swiggers?
Yeah.
Is it? Or what is it?
Beer.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Oh. All right. I'll go. Well.
All right. Well, I guess we're going there. There's a lot of things to check out. There's a Netflix documentary about this that's pretty groovy if you guys really want to take a deep dive, because I'm sure a lot of people are frustrated by the level of detail I did not go into. But yeah.
That felt like a lot of detail.
I think we got into
What's the name of the Netflix documentary?
Something Cecil Hotel.
Okay.
Disappearance at the Cecil, something like that. Yeah.
This place is not a good.
No, it's not. But
Bad vibes.
Next time I'm in LA, I do want to go see it, though.
We're definitely going to stay there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Let's
playing the
record from
elevator
there.
Yeah. Ooh. I can't. You can't, in good conscience, get on that elevator after seeing the video and knowing.
How weird.
No. Yeah. No. And seeing that, I watched that season of American Horror Story. That was like probably the last season of that show that I watched.
It was scary.
It was a scary season. And that hotel, like, this is exactly what I'm picturing when you see shit like this. Yeah. Hotels by nature are fucking weird because they're all like identical, but there's so many very different things happening in each room, and it's all siloed, and it's quiet, but you hear random noises. Hotels are fucking weird.
And you're just naturally, by definition, out of your element.
You're out of your element.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very good point. That's a good point, Ben. Hey, we were had.
We were had.
Toodaloo.